Before we get started, I wanted to share some of our findings here overall. If people were amenable to such a thing. If you're not, that's okay. I accept. If so, you're watching the wrong show. So, I've been looking at all of the zones now that we're done going through and highlighting them. And I know you hate data, Uthor. You're much more of a lore person, but I thought this was interesting. So let's just use let's use a metric. So general zone design from a narrative perspective. So for example, the best designed zones narratively were Tirisfal and Westfall by quite a margin. After that was Gilneas, Kazan, Hillsbrad, and then a whole bunch of others which were generally well designed. The ones that were badly designed from a zone perspective narratively were Durotar, Stone Talon Mountains, Thousand Needles, Arathi Highlands, Dune Morrogue, and my personal favorite, at the absolute bottom, Dustwallow Marsh. Now hang on. I know what you're thinking. What about side quests? Well, actually, there's not a lot of side quests, really, in Cata. None that are really noteworthy. So the only zone that really did very well in side quests was Fellwood and Badlands, which makes sense. And the only zone that did particularly badly in side quests was Dustwallow Marsh and Stranglethorn Vale. But what about the visuals? What was our most impressive zone visually? Well, that's easy enough to explain. Because the best zone visually is Stormwind, but that doesn't count, of course. So actually the answer is, try to be shocked, Kazan. Yeah, Kazan just kind of knocked that one out of the park, followed immediately by Gilneas. Again, no shock there, right? Of course the two actual modern zones are the ones that are going to nail that. Okay, you can stop playing this music. Quit it. There we go. Hem. The worst zone visually is Dustwallow Marsh. All right. Hang on. Which two, J. Palmer? I'm past you a little bit. Audio, and that is to say music. No surprise there's not a lot of standouts here, because this is essentially vanilla. However, one zone did get 2 story positives to music, and that is Teldrassil. And you're probably wondering, who got the most story negatives? East Plaguelands. In which category? I'm sorry, J. Palmer. Visuals. Okay. Kazan had 6 pluses to visuals. Gilneas had 4. I should mention that's a little bit unfair, because Kazan had 6, whereas the Lost Isles had 2. So the Goblin Starter Zone had 8, whereas Gilneas had 4. Now, what you really care about is none of that. You're one of those people who thinks that every bit of story that isn't main story doesn't count. So let's look at just main story. So the best main story by quite a margin is South Barrens, without hesitation. And that's not surprising to me. South Barrens is the culmination of several story arcs, does a great job with what it's going for, and is kind of like a centerpiece for the entirety of the Hellscream War. If I was to define the Hellscream War in one zone, South Barrens is it. Immediately after that, we have Gilneas with 5, Westfall with 5, and the Lost Isles with 4. Then Stone Talon Mountains, Thousand Needles, and then we start to break it out a little bit. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, what are the worst zones for main story quest? Well, that's easy. Red Ridge Mountains and the Wetlands. So, what about our totals? I mean, who cares about all these details, right? We just want to know the best zone narratively. I'm sorry, between which two, J. Palmer? You gotta ask specifics, because I'm running through a lot of statistics here. Yes, it was a tie between those two. Okay, enough with the repetitive music. What is going on in Stormwind? God. There. Ahem. Overall story. At the very top, tied for first, is South Barrens and Westfall. I'm actually a little bit surprised on that, if I'm being totally honest with you. But only a little bit. Of course, South Barrens and Westfall are going to be the best story-wise, but I kind of thought Gilneas would edge that up. But Gilneas was right behind them with 1 point worse. Then Kazan, then Tirisfal, and then it starts to bleed out a little bit more. But let's scroll down to the worst in terms of overall. Because way down here at the bottom, we have Dustwallow Marsh. No, I'm actually kidding, believe it or not. Shockingly enough, no, the worst zone story-wise was Red Ridge Mountains, which if Riker's Beard ever watches this on the VOD, I imagine he will be amused by that. The second worst zone story-wise was Wetlands, by the way. A gap of 4. I'll just answer that now. But nobody cares about story. Nobody plays WoW for story. Let's look at gameplay. Yes. So, gameplay is kind of all over the place, obviously. I'm just amused by some of the gameplay score we have here. Zone design, which is mostly about overworld flow, stuff they do with that. Best overall overworld design of a zone gameplay-wise, Lost Isles, which, again, does not surprise me. Lost Isles, however, did have some very stiff competition by a zone that came very close to it, and that is Red Ridge. This also does not surprise me. Red Ridge is still a really, really solid zone, gameplay-wise, and is still a lot of fun to play through. So, credit where credit is due. But it's Lost Isles, Red Ridge, Gilneas, and then it branches out a bit. The worst zone gameplay-wise, in terms of just zone design, by far, is Stranglethorn Vale, way down there at the bottom. My God. Let's see. Oh, absolutely, Jay Palmer. Yes, the biggest disparity is between... I was going to do that next, but hang on. So MSQ, we had some really good MSQ gameplay-wise in Thousand Needles, Silver Pine, and looks like that's actually it. Oh, and Red Ridge, obviously. I should mention that as well. And then, no really bad MSQ gameplay-wise except in Thessalis. We didn't have a lot of Prime Ops. There's almost no Prime Ops when it comes to Cataclysm. Secondaries. This is really funny to me. So Felwood had +4 to gameplay for secondary quests, which I stand by, it's worth noting. The next highest is +2 at Hillsbrad. Then most zones have negatives for secondary quests. The worst zone for secondary quests is... That's right, it's Dustwallow Marsh. No, I'm actually kidding. It's actually Stranglethorn Vale, which had really, really bad frickin' quest design. In fact, it was essentially vanilla secondary quest design. So it makes sense that it's just a little bit worse than Dustwallow. Now, overall gameplay, just so across all the gameplay axes, the best gameplay by quite a margin was Lost Isles. That's not a surprise to me. Lost Isles was solid. Immediately after that is Red Ridge. Again, try to be shocked. Then Gilneas, Thousand Needles, Felwood, and Silverpine. All of those had pretty solid gameplay. In the negatives, at the very bottom, we had Stranglethorn Vale. Try to be shocked. Dustwallow, Wetlands, and then the rest are just kind of whatever. So those are our 3 worst zones gameplay-wise. But let's look at gaps, right? Gaps in between story and gameplay. So Gilneas is good. Kazan's good. Let's see here. Ashenvale is good-bad, so that's +8, -2. South Barrens is +14, +1, so that's a bit of a gap. Dislis is +2, +0. But I do believe, counting a negative to positives spread, I do think Red Ridge is going to take this one, because Red Ridge is... Where is it? I was just looking at it. -6, +6. Which leads Red Ridge with a total net score of 0. Oh my goodness. Did I track disparity between Alliance and Horde? No, I did not. So let's look at our overall, shall we? Let's look at our net score for each zone, gameplay and story, and then we'll kind of do a live Horde Alliance-y thing. So, best zone in the New World stuff, by a decent margin, Gilneas. This does not surprise me. It had good gameplay, and it had great story. Of course, Gilneas is at the top. While some of the other zones really, really nail it in certain specific categories, Gilneas is good in both, and that's what I value, obviously. So, Alliance zone. So that's 1 point for the Alliance. Hang on, let me actually write this down here, just for funsies. All right, the number 2 slot and the number 3 slot are tied between the Lost Isles. Again, no shock there. Good story, good gameplay. And Westfall, which, yeah, that tracks. Immediately after that, tied again, is Kazan and the South Barrens. So that's another Horde one, and then a both. After that, we have Tirisfal and Silverpine, which, yeah, that tracks. And then the Badlands, that's agnostic, so that doesn't matter. And then Durotar, Thousand Needles, Fellwood, East Plagues, Burning Steps. So a whole lot of doesn't matter on side, except for Durotar. So agnostic, 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 agnostic. Horde again with Ashara. Agnostic, agnostic, agnostic. There's another Horde one. Uh-oh. I'm starting to sense a trend. There's Ashenvale. Okay, even just glancing at this, I can tell you right now there's definitely a trend. There are far more good Horde zones than there are, net, counting everything, than there are Alliance zones. Oh, excuse me. Let's look at our worst, though. What is the worst zone in Cata? That's right, it's Dustbowl Marsh. But immediately after that, what's our second worst? Because we all know Dustbowlers get the worst slot. But who gets the second worst slot? Any guesses before I tell you? Stranglethorn Vale is a good guess. Stranglethorn Vale is the third worst. But the second worst is the wetlands. I'm shocked at how bad the wetlands were. It was really bad. Those are the three bottoms: Stranglethorn Vale, Wetlands, and Dustbowl Marsh. My goodness. Now, how do these line up compared to previous zones? So our worst zone, I would say Wetlands is the biggest surprise. I never would have pictured that being that far down. Anybody could have guessed Dustbowl is down, and I could have guessed Stranglethorn is down. But Wetlands? I tend to forget it even exists. At the top, I would say the biggest surprise for me, honestly, is probably the Lost Isles. I know you yourself mentioned how much you disagree with that. But, like, the Lost Isles was good. Like, good quests, good humor, good seriousness, good stakes, good layering, good gameplay, good gimmicks, good fun, good flow. Like, I was surprised at how good the Lost Isles were. Like, that was just like, huh. Because usually when I think of Goblin Starter Zone, I think Kazan, right? For obvious reason. Let's go ahead and fix that really quick before we screw everything forever. I will also say as an aside, it is funny. So looking at Wrath, for example, the worst zone in Wrath, net, was Ice Crown. Now that surprised me. I'm going to be honest. That one shocked me. To give you a bit of perspective, Ice Crown was as bad as Dustbowl Marsh. And you're probably thinking, that's insane. But actually, really, sitting those two side by side, I stand by that. When you consider everything pound for pound, when you take all of it into account, no, that tracks. Ice Crown has several things that help pull it up a little bit, because otherwise it'd be even lower. But it has a lot of things dragging it down. Best Wrath Zone was Storm Peaks. Storm Peaks is about the equivalent of South Barrens, for example. So, in other words, Gilneas surpassed Storm Peaks. No shock there. Back in BC, our best zone, and this was actually a little bit of a surprise to me too, was the Netherstorm. For a bit of equivalency, the Netherstorm was about as good as Ashara or Stone Talon Mountains or Tannerus, or Hillsbrad, to give you a bit of a comparison point there. Our worst zone in BC was, of course, Blade's Edge, but let's ignore that. Our second worst zone in BC was Blood Mist. Nothing even comes close to that. I bashed Dust Wallow, but no. Dust Wallow is nowhere near as bad as Blood. It's literally half as bad as Blood Mist was. Yes, Rain 36. No memeing. They both got a net of -6. Dust Wallow got -1, -5. Ice Crown got -2, -4. Net. Obviously, this is after everything. And yeah, Ice Crown was not a leveling zone at all. It does feel like an endgame zone, probably because it is. But you can really tell they were starting to fall apart in their quest design in Ice Crown. And hell, that was with dragon flying. I don't want to think about Ice Crown without, because I've done that before. Like me and my friend, I think I talked about this when we were there. Me and my friend spent several days going through Ice Crown back in the day. Anyways, moving on. Oh yeah, and try to be shocked of the vanilla capital cities. The worst one was the Undercity. No shock there. And the best one is Stormwind. No shock there. Like, duh. It's nothing to add to that. Darnassus managed to have a flat 0. Good job, Darnassus. But without further ado, we will not be finishing this zone today. There's no way. There's no way. We're starting too late. But I would like to at least start Vashj'ir today. So without further ado, we finished a whole lot of stuff. Not yet, Uthor. Let's put on a quick outfit. Let's put on our Sunday finest. We're about to go fight for the Alliance. We need to look cool. Oh, I am so hoping for some bugs. I want bugs. I want bugs. I want so many bugs. Let's see. Any outfits I like at all? See, the problem is helmets on gnomes are just a thing, you know? There's only so much you could do with a gnome helmet. I mean, look at this. Look at this. It's terrible. I don't know, this kind of works for me. No, I haven't done any of the Heritage quests because they're not out yet. I was actually thinking about doing those early, but we'll get there. We'll get there. There we go. Perfect. Correct. I have never done a single Heritage quest. By the time Heritage quests started coming out, I was already thinking about this review. So, as you might imagine, I've been saving them for this review. However many years that is at this point. Oh, you know what? No, I know what helmet she needs. I know what helmet she needs. Where are they? Where are they? There they are. There they are. I think those ones will suit her. Yeah, we'll do that. Perfect! God, freaking Shadowlands armor. I don't know, what do we think? What do we think? If we're gonna do this, I have the perfect staff for it. There we go. Perfect. Helmetine. God, how is she even wielding that? That is literally bigger than she is. Is this a little smaller? That's a little smaller. Yep, we are a mage. We are definitely a mage. I mean, we're working on behalf of the Stormwind military. They probably don't want us to be obvious about what we're... Like, if we will show up with this thing, like, hi, I'm here to serve the Alliance. What is it you're carrying? Oh, this is the Scepter of Sargeras. I'm sorry, the what? It's the, it's okay, this is Ulthalas, the Dread Harvester. I'm sorry, what? Oh, that doesn't help either, does it? Okay. Can I just say, I've always low-key liked this staff. We'll talk about it more when we get to Warlords, but it just kind of looks like what I imagine an ogre mage staff would look like. It's got some maginess and design to it, but it still feels like it was just kind of carved out of rock, you know? I don't know. I've always liked that. You know what I really should put on, actually? Where's Kata? Where's Kata? There it is. What do you think? What do you think? We're definitely a mage now. Yeah, let's do it. Commit. Commit.
Beware of Yeti.
There we go. Perfect. We are ready to go. Okay. Bugs, come on, give me some bugs. Oh, wait. Before we move any further, 3 negatives to gameplay. Bugs. As I've said before, no matter how many bugs we have on this playthrough, Vashj'ir is so bugged, and has always been so bugged, that even if we somehow miraculously have a bugless playthrough, it's still a triple negative bugs. Yeah, got that out of the way.
What can I do for you?
Citizen, as you may have heard, the horde's attacking just offshore. The fighting's been fierce and relentless. We need every able body out there repelling the enemy. Report to the northernmost dock and at once for transport. Oh, our official warships are a bit late in their scheduled return. Don't worry, we've commissioned a mercenary vessel to serve in the meantime. Hurry along now, mage. Stormwind needs you. Wait, hang on. I just realized I need to do a small announcement because we're actually in the endgame zones, and that's significant. So I'm gonna do a small announcement so that people know that we've moved on to the endgame stuff. Whoops.
Proudmoore's finest, at your service.
So, just so people are aware, it took us 18 days to get through Cataclysm. 18 days. My God.
Be careful.
Oh. What? What? Wow! They really do just completely skip it, don't they? No context. Okay, negative to story. Great way to start off one of my favorite zones in the game. Oh, they just completely ripped it out. No, we're in endgame Kata. We've got like the big zones left for us. We're finally past the new world. Oh my God! Like, oh, just is there any context?
Yes. Do not let the darkness triumph.
That looks like a no. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. We're gonna do a very rough live machinima. Okay. Just hear me out here. All right. Oh my God. Yeah, context? Context is for losers. Okay. So, oh, this might be multiple negative or that's crazy. Okay, so if you are on the Alliance, you can't see it and I can't ping it, but way over there, that's it, right in front of me. That's Stormwind, okay? So you get on the ship and the ship heads over here. If you're on the Horde, you get on the ship and it like spawns in like over here and it starts following pretty much the exact same path. Both ships end up going the same path. They follow northward along this line, like this. As both ships are sailing, we actually have a cutscene that plays out. On the Alliance, it's a different cutscene for both. Wow, you can see Gilneas from here. On the Alliance, it's about, there's been this spit of land that has shown up on our shores. It's that island right there. And so That's you got to fix it, Uthor. It's your job. Don't forget. This spit of land has given the Horde a chance for open up a new front. We cannot let them have it. So in other words, this is quickly something that they're turning into a new quagmire, just like the South Barrens, and for the same reason, transportation. Yeah, there you can see the lighthouse for Stormwind right there. So, sorry, right there. Let me be more clear about that. So, the Alliance and the Horde both show up here. The Horde actually say something about how they are truly blessed by the spirits to have this island show up, because they take it as a literal sign that they should be fighting the Alliance, that this is something that's going to help them out. I'm not even joking about that. On both sides, you encounter the mercenary group. You know, the one from Zul'Aman that we also saw in Grizzly Hills, that we will see again in Oldham. They have a little cutscene, and at one point, Bud actually says, "Ooh, shiny," and jumps over the edge. The only reason I bothered to mention that is that's going to show up again. So just so you know, Bud jumps overboard in the middle of the trip. Moving on. Now, as the ship's on approach, we get a little bit of lore. We find out that both factions have sent their primary fleets here. This is the naval battle of the Hellscream War. That's important because most of those ships are freaking dead. Now, we don't know that at the time, but as you kind of saw as we were heading out, there's a huge amount of ship wreckage and debris here. Both ships have been sailing into an ambush, but not an ambush by the other side. Like, after this point, both sides have barely a functional fleet. It's why they have so few ships ready for when the war in Pandaria happens. Like, this actually has consequences going forward, is why I'm trying to emphasize this point. So, as you can see by the ship wreckage and by the gulls here, this is where we end up. So we go here, and as the ship is on approach, it gets grabbed by a freaking kraken. The kraken starts grabbing people, tearing them, sending them overboard, and wrecking the ships. And as you can see, there's quite a few ship wreckages here. Again, this is where the main fleets were. Kraken knocks over the ships, sends us to the depths, and we fall into the water. We're, of course, stunned as we're falling below the waves here, and we're freaking out, and we're like, oh my god, what's happening? And again, you can see even better down here just how many ships are sunk around here. There's quite a few. So one of those Naga comes to grab us, and they're like, hey, we're here to kill you. And we're like, oh, I'd rather not be killed. And the Naga's like, yeah, that's nice. We're here to kill you. It's like, oh, okay. But then this dude shows up, this Broken shows up out of absolutely nowhere, kills the Naga, and shoots this, like, shamanistic air bubble at us, and at which point we pass out. When we wake up, we're here. Okay, so that's all the context you missed. That's all the positives I'm not giving the zone that I can't because they ripped it out of the game. Negative to story. Like, I get it. It was buggy. It was always buggy. I've even told you that I've shown you bugs. This was bugged when the game came out. Like, this was bugged at launch. Never mind in more recent stuff. Oh my god. I apologize, Pillars of Snow. I understand. It doesn't hit it for me. I don't even have a good explanation of why. Well, actually, I have a theory, but point being, don't debate that. Now, I'm actually going to argue two negatives for this. Because if you're paying attention, even if you break it down to its fundamental bones, there are three significant elements of story we just missed out. Bud, yeah, I know, but bear with me. The gigantic naval war, which, if you remember, I reemphasized that like 3 times because that's going to keep coming up. This naval battle completely shreked the Alliance and the Horde's naval fleets, which is important for the future. And Azumat! No, and why the hell we're here in this upside-down ship leaking. Now, hope you enjoyed those negatives, because it's time to flip that a little bit. I want to argue a positive just for this room. The Horde gets almost an identical room, by the way, in another ship nearby. This is brilliant visual storytelling. When you wake up, even now, when you wake up, what do you see? Drowned soldiers, a ship clearly leaking. It's clearly upside down and at an angle. There's all kinds of flotsam and debris just floating in the water. There's even a frickin' anvil and salvaged goods, so you can repair your crap here if you feel like it. Because gameplay convenience. You know, you can see the stuff that used to be netted to the ceiling. Like, this is nice. Yeah, you actually can't sell stuff here. Yep. Cannot sell items to this merchant. And the only two living things in here are you and this guy from the Earthen Ring. I hope you're ready for me to be gushing, because Vashj'ir is one of my favorite frickin' zones. Okay. And yeah, and there's this other gnome for some reason. She says she's gonna torture and kill me. I don't know, maybe. Okay, so. Yeah, where's your umbrella? God. Wait, do I have the umbrella? I do. Hang on. Where is it? No, what's it called? Anyone know what the umbrella's called? There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm good to go. I love the search feature in this game. I just searched for Revendreth, and it came up with the right toy. Because of course it did. Okay, let me get Brigwood in the shot. There we go. I should use this. Oh, I have, and it's hilarious, Uthor. I did this on my main druid. Oh, more recently? No. I did this back when Kata was new on Nox 8th. I haven't done it on a druid since then. Anyways, so this is... Let's go with visual storytelling. Firecat. Also, plus to music. Don't at me. I love the Vashj'ir music. In fact, double plus to music. No hesitation. No questions.
Speak with me. Keep up.
Not exactly the battle you had anticipated, I will wager. But a battle nonetheless, as you will soon see.
Find your center.
Welcome to the briny cutter. I am Aronak, the last surviving passenger of this once proud vessel. I'm afraid your travails have only just begun. The Naga have been attacking here relentlessly. You're not equipped to be of much help down here, but I can remedy that. Just outside the ship live a special breed of starfish. Bring me some of them along with a conch shell.
Maintain focus.
You got it. So, here's the problem with Vashj'ir. So this is the problem with Vashj'ir, right here. Swim speed is slow, the place is huge, and we have a limited breath timer. How do we fix that? So they give the very first quest in here right outside. You only have to grab a couple of things. In fact, you have to grab 4 things. I know I've been pointing this out a lot, and I have, but I'm going to keep pointing out the specifics of how many of a certain thing that you need in this area, in any given quest zone. So you could tell they put some very careful thought into this. Anybody who knows what they're doing probably isn't too freaked out, because you have plenty of time. I mean, I have tons of time to get back in there and get things, but you know there are players who are either new to the game or play it more casually or don't really know what they're doing or don't track their breath timer the same way, who would be dying here because of the of the underwater breath thing. So they make you need 4 things, only 4 things, and they're all right next door. They are right outside the ship. You don't even have to leave visual radius of the thing. It's right here. Boom, done. Good design. We're already done. I'm going to go right back in. And even while roaming and taking my time, that still only took half my breath bar. We'll talk about the visuals of Vashj'ir in a second. I hope you like visual positives, Blade Traval, if you're ever hearing this. Because you're about to see a lot of those.
The elements listen.
It is good to see you're alive. Have you found the items that I require?
Do not let the darkness
And then he casts a spell on you called Sea Legs.
Maintain focus.
You are now able to move about this realm more freely and without fear of drowning. This is where our work begins. First, you have many allies nearby who are drowning as we speak. As I saved you, you must save them. I have enchanted the shell you brought me. Use it to rescue your friends. Hurry now.
Your center.
So, as soon as we leave this zone and go out into the underwater zone, boop, we are now swimming much faster, and we have infinite breath underwater. Boom. Hang on, Sea Legs gets better, but it's already good. God, I love this zone so much. Sorry. I've been looking forward to this for like a month and a half, you know? Ever since we started. Wow. Up. Yeah, let's get our pet out here while we're here. I mean, it's not going to make us move faster, J. Palmer. However, for that, I'm not sure. I mean, I can just buff myself with underwater breath, see what happens. Am I faster? A little bit, looks like. Request status, no. So now we can run on the floor. We get to see the wild run animation. Wee! Up. Let's see if it'll even let me. Nope, it won't even let me cast it on them, J. Palmer. Okay, so let's go rescue these stupid drowning soldiers. This is why that's a multiple negative, by the way. Like, Jesus Christ, people. Why are these soldiers drowning? We don't know. We got on a ship and now we're here. Oh. Can I just say, I know that there's issues, tech issues, and awareness issues and all that, but I really like the 3D zone nature of Vashj'ir. I always have. I even have some freaking depth perception issues, and I still love this zone. Now, the first time I did this on a warrior. Let me tell you, charge is fun underwater. Whee! Excuse me. Is this the right ship? That's the right ship. What the hell? Oh, I'm going in the wrong thing. That makes sense.
Hello, friend. Keep up.
While you were away, I was able to revive some of the fallen soldiers. We'll need every hand if we're to survive here. Okay, have you already noticed the narrative trend of Vashj'ir? For all of the problems Vashj'ir has, story is not one of them. This is probably one of the best MSQs of any zone in the game, in my personal opinion. There is a non-stop vibe of being on the back foot. You are constantly pushing up against something and losing. We spend, I'm just going to spoil this, we spend most of this zone losing. And I love it. I love the fact that every time we succeed at something, all we manage to do is either survive for a little bit longer or make things slightly less bad. Oh yeah, we retreat several times in this zone. We have to pull back. Give me just 1 second, please. Okay.
Do not let the...
You have done well, Gnome, but there's much to do and I grow weary. I've expended a great deal of energy sending a distress message to the Earthen Ring leadership, pleading for their help. Remember that? I must be rest if I'm to be of further use to us here. Speak to the leader of the men you've saved and see what we can do to help prepare for battle. The Naga are scouring the water for us. It's only a matter of time before they return in even greater numbers.
Find your center.
I was going to write down something. Hang on a sec. What, Chip Palmer?
Need help?
I hear you, Gnome. I understand the urgency, but these men are in no condition to fight.
Go with honor, friend. Light bless you.
So many good men have been lost today. Without you, that number would be even higher. You have our... Oh god, I just realized it's Captain Taylor! This is our first introduction to Taylor. Now, he's not as big of a character as Nazgrim is, but this is the Alliance equivalent of Nazgrim. If you remember, Nazgrim joined the narrative in the Grizzly Hills back in Wrath. Taylor joins the narrative here. The Horde equivalent, if we were doing this on the Horde, is General Nazgrim. Nazgrim and Taylor will both be showing up several times in future expansions. If what the shaman says is true... Oh, no, go ahead and hit me, Huthor. I don't even care. Come on, man. Come on. You gotta be honest with me. We may disagree, but you have to disagree with me honestly. What do I look like? Palpatine? Don't answer that. We're not yet ready to fight. You must buy us time. Find the Naga that hunt us and delay their efforts.
Go with honor, friend. Be careful.
I'll need your help if I'm going to get these men ready for battle. Any decent leader knows his men travel and fight on their stomachs. No food, no victory. These soldiers are weak from their recent ordeal. They'll need sustenance if they're to put up any kind of fight when the need arises. Speaking of traveling on stomachs, I've seen several crabs out on the seafloor.
For the Alliance. Go with honor, friend.
Let's see what we can do then. I don't remember Najatar's quests as well as I would like to, so I can't comment on that specifically. What I can comment on is how Najatar's MSQ freaking sucks. No, I can say that definitively. You know why? Because in the middle of Najatar's MSQ, you have to go do a rep grind in order to progress it. Ask me how I know. I found this out by accident. We were actually doing the Najatar MSQ in order to get several of my friends the cloak, because you need to do the MSQ in Najatar to start the cloak chain, right? So we were trying to figure out, I think I've talked about this a few times, we had to go through all sorts of crap in order to finally reverse engineer what was needed to start the cloak chain. So that sucked. But there is a specific point in time in which you have to go gain rep with the Gilblins of Najatar in order to progress. There's literally a quest. I can prove this because I have that quest completed on my Demon Hunter for this run. I have it prepped and ready to go. Just so I could skip over that 3-day daily step. It's actually, I think, 6 days. In order to actually do those quests on camera. However, other than that huge gaping flaw in the gameplay, yeah, Najatar's pretty legit. I think Najatar will actually score pretty well. Notice 100% drop rate, by the way, because this is a proper Kata zone. Thank you very much. No more of this vanilla bull crap here. Sorry, Wrecker's Beard. Sorry, Jay Palmer. Sorry, Huthor. Look, just take it as a blanket sorry, okay? I'm sorry to all the people who I have just offended. Let me get my banjo. Wang. I had a serious and consistent lapse in judgment for insisting that vanilla is the worst MMO ever made. That is, of course, a colossal lie, because I've played MMOs that came out before WoW, and they're much worse. Oh god, they're so much worse. Oh, you think you've seen bad MMOs? No. Hold my beer. Asheron's Call, which is an MMO I played faithfully for years, is a worse MMO than WoW Vanilla. And I do mean vanilla, not classic. Oh, excuse me. You know what's funny? 3 separate times in this run, I have felt this surge of uplifting positivity. Every single one of them has been for the same thing, too. when we first started Wrath, when we first started Kata, and just now, when we're finally in the Kata endgame stuff. I've said this before. I don't know if Ross is here to hear this, but I've said this before. I'll say this again. WoW pretty much never stops getting better. So each step forward is another, kind of a moment. And yes, that was Gary who was on stream for that match. True. We did Airlinth even, which was one of the big quest chains back in the day. You can call it that. What do you mean, Uthor? Uthor says, well, I think that WoW gets better with each expansion. Oh, okay, I agree with that. I mean, that's not true. It's kind of true. Approaching
Well
truth.
met. For the Alliance.
Let's hope your efforts prove enough of a diversion.
Light bless you.
Were you able to find anything for us to eat? Oh, this should help our exhaustion. Again, we thank you.
For the Alliance. King's honor, friend. Go with honor, friend.
As we struggled not to drown, my men and I were forced to abandon our weapons and much of our armor. Aronak says we expect a major attack from the Naga soon, and I am inclined to believe him. If we're going to stand a chance, we'll need your help to recover our lost armaments. They should be on the sea floor near our shipwrecks. Hurry, we're defenseless here.
Be careful. Light bless you.
You've done us a great service, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The men you've saved today aren't your everyday Stormwind troops. We belong to a special detachment of elite soldiers set not only to contend with the Horde, but to investigate massive geological disturbances originating from the nearby seafloor. I tell you this because our top-secret equipment is at the bottom of the wrecked ships, and we need to retrieve
Be careful.
our Navy SEAL gear. Oh, I see what you're talking about. You're talking about, hang on, this. How the camera essentially moves forwards, right? Hang on. Is that an eel? I think that's an eel. Eels are among the creepiest of Azeroth's creatures. Sure, there are those who pretend they don't mind them. Others actually claim to favor them. They are lying. Truth be told, no one likes eels. Eels don't even like eels. Oh my god, no wonder I'm dying. There we go. Azeroth would be a better place if no one ever had to envision an eel slithering out of the murky depths and biting them in the face. Now, I want you to picture Aragorn saying the line at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, "Let's hunt some orc." But say it a little bit different. "Let's hunt some eel." And then Legolas and Gimli are both like, "Aye!" And they all charge into the water and start killing eels with reckless abandon. I'm probably the only person in the world who finds that mental image funny, and that's okay. That's okay. I can accept being the freak. But I could just picture Legolas being like, yeah, in the water, in the water. And of course he's Legolas. So of course he can actually shoot his bow underwater. Why couldn't he? And yeah, they're just leaping into the water. Yeah, sploosh. They find an eel. You know that meme of all of them just kicking the guy as he's down? They find an eel and they're all just kicking the eel underwater. This is the kind of insanity that I would make if I had the ability to just, you know, animate stuff. And everyone would look at them and be like, this guy's on crack. Stop doing the crack. And now Now I'm ready for Kitten Fan's horrifyingly evil question. The Bakshi movie? I mean, part of the problem is this is a 3D zone. And there's nothing else for that. It's a 3D zone, so... Human beings have trouble with 3D, never mind video games. I will admit I don't have that much of an issue with this zone, but that's not bragging, that's just... Oh god, I hate you, Huthor. I don't have that much of an issue with it, but I do still have issues with it. As I've mentioned before, I do definitely have a depth perception issue. And that definitely shows up here. Thankfully, there's enough of things to kind of indicate when you're close enough to something. And I will admit it never actually bothered me, but I might have been biased because I absolutely love this zone. I think, if I'm going to be 100% honest with myself, part of why I like this zone is for a reason that I would be made fun of if I admitted to it. Which I won't admit it, therefore. Like, I can't take being made fun of, okay? I'm a streamer. I have an extremely small ego. I have no self-confidence and no self-esteem whatsoever. Unless I'm a big streamer. In which case I have a gigantic ego. I might actually be narcissistic, depending. Did you notice that enemies drop and items drop this quest objective? I mean, fair enough, Kitten Fan. You still haven't asked your question. Just as a reminder. Come on, get out of my way. Oh. Well, what's the game? Unless it's WoW. Yeah, no, it's because they 3D painted parts of the ship. And for some reason, that's a different zone than, like, the whole of Vashj'ir. I should mention, Vashj'ir is actually 3 zones. It's the Kelpthar Forest, the Shimmering Expanse, and the Abyssal Depths. Interestingly enough, the second of these 3 zones probably has the most overall depth to it. No pun intended. The third one's mostly a run-through. By the time we're there, we've mostly finished the zone. Big zone, though. Which is pretty normal at this point for an endgame zone. Well, I barely remember that game, so I'm not even sure I can answer such a question, Kitten Fan. Like, I played that for a room. Gotta kill all these filthy... By the way, the quest objective here is disgusting eels justifiably slayed. That's our quest objective. The name of the quest is Once Again with Eeling. Yeah, I want to know why this quest designer just decided out of nowhere to be like, you know what? Screw eels. Oh, no, it makes perfect sense. This quest designer played Mario 64. Oh my god, my inventory. I need to sort this crap out. I should have done that off camera, but I was in such a hurry I didn't do it. Sorry. Sorry, I suck. Look, I barely ate during my lunch break, okay? I don't know what you want from me. So nobody minds eel. Eels are delicious, after all. Let me guess, Huthor, you hate it. You would give it 3 negatives to gameplay, and you hate me for giving it 2 positives to the story. Oh no. We lost Jimmy Carter. Please tell me he outlived Jackass Face. I used to know the exact date at which he would have surpassed him in age, but I don't remember it right now. Hello, Jadam. Jadamigus? Damigus? Jackass Face. I can never think of his name. He's one of the most evil politicians we've ever had. Everybody was happy when he died. He was an awful person. Known napalm enthusiast. Kissinger, that's him. Henry Kissinger. Yeah, Kissinger is right up there with Thatcher. Nobody was sad about that one. Eels. Oh, hang on. You can add killing all these eels to the list of things you can tell your grandchildren you've done for them. Why, when I was your age, I was saving the world from Deathwing, and I killed a bunch of eels. Sure thing, Grandpa. Those eels never stood a chance. Uh-huh. Whatever you say, Grandpa. Eels are disgusting, you see. That's great, Grandpa. Maybe I should pull out a Soul Rot. Soul Rot feels like an AoE. I could go with Oblivion instead. Ooh, that looks fun. 45-second cooldown. It's a channel. It costs 2 shards. Does damage over time, and it does increase damage up to 30% per damage over time on the target. Or I could go over here. Increase Malefic Rupture. Increase per dots. Crits have a chance to grant Nightfall. And Malefic Rupture is improved even better. Ah! That sucks, Huthor. Short by about 4 months. God damn you, Kissinger. God damn you. Ruining everything like you always do. Now let's pull out a Soul Rot. Let's pull over here instead. Ooh, that gives us an Execute. But for right now, I want to try Oblivion.
What can I do for you? Go with honor,
Then we
friend.
recovered our gear.
For the Alliance.
Well done. Thank you to you, my men will be ready to confront the enemy.
Light bless you.
Real nice touch. They shift to actually having armed armor now. When do you do that?
Well met.
Anyways, yeah, so what's the asterisk, Huthor? Were we able to secure the equipment?
Go with honor, friend.
Alright, we're as ready as we'll ever be. I'll address the men.
Light bless you.
Alright. Captain, the Naga! They followed us back! Soon you shall serve my lady. Die, beast! Well, we've been discovered. No time for a speech. Alright. This is it. This is where we make our stand. We must defend the ship with our last breath, and make these cretin think twice about approaching it again. May our blade strike fear in their hearts. Did you catch that, by the way? That's such a tone setter for Vashj'ir. Ignoring the fact that we literally start off on the back foot. The moment he's like, all right, let me go give an epic speech before this upcoming battle, and he's interrupted by the battle showing up on his doorstep. Now, this is one of those cutscenes that kind of this is one of those in-gameplay cutscenes. Well, I was rather fond of those. They sometimes work better than others. So I've known a lot of players who don't even notice the stuff that's happening in this cutscene. Correct, Yura, correct. So we're going to try to make sure we don't miss anything. Oh my goodness. Stop dying. Oh crap, I have aggro. I have aggro. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. There's too many. Shaman, do something. So Aronach swims out. Thank you, Aronach. Congrats, Yura. Rest while you can. That wasn't the last of them. Yeah, let's get him a little bit back up there. Refill my health cookies. Uh-oh. Is this our first bug? I'm leaning towards yes. Perfect. So there's our first bug. Yep. They all just went away, and we haven't completed the quest. Now, there's a couple of things that can happen here. We're going to wait a few seconds to see if one of them happens, because I've actually seen this happen before. Because sometimes it'll just trigger, like, out of nowhere. Oops, that's the wrong target. This is my underwater mod. I am a mage, Yura. Also, what's your childhood game, Yura? You never said. Oh, Shinobi 3. Nice. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to trigger it. It would have done so by now. So we're going to abandon the quest. But yeah, easy to miss is kind of a debatable, right? If someone says something that's like, oh my god, pay attention to this, and then an event happens, that's not what I would call easy to miss. If, on the other hand, something happens, oh no. Oh, thank God. Okay, it put us in the right layer. It put us in the right layer. We're good, we're good, we're good. I knew how to get around that. I've seen that bug before, but it looks like we're okay for the moment. There's a, like I said, there's our first bug. So much for bugless. Anyways, a game I reviewed that I actually enjoyed ripping and tearing apart. Starfield. Also Secret of the Stars. And Wolfenstein Youngblood. Pretty much anything at the bottom. Mega Man X7. There's another one. Quest 64. No, Starfield was more boring than fun. I didn't enjoy ripping apart Tor, no. Recover really quick. Aronach's gonna do his thing. Alright. Come on, work with me. You can do it, game. I believe that you can bug out again. Oh! I think that's correct. I think we're okay. Okay, here we go. So we're up to phase 2. That's good, that's good. Stay alert! Don't let them drag you away. So if you're paying attention, bit by bit, Nagas you can't actually attack show up and grab each of the soldiers. Oh, we'll see, Lord Harrimont. We'll see. I enjoy gushing about this game, but... Oh, yeah, there he goes. He grabbed another one. And another one. Help! Their numbers are endless. And they grab all of them except for Captain Taylor, Aeronach, and us. Men. My men, they're all taken. Go! Save yourself! Did you notice Aeronach just pieced out? Then a Naga grabbed us. What a fine specimen you are. Oh, we're gonna tear Kurthia to shreds. It probably is legitimately the worst zone in the entire game. My lady will be most grateful for our efforts. Yes, yes. And then a bunch of shamans show up and beat the ever-living crap out of that Naga, including Aeronach. Did you see how Aeronach actually pieced out in the middle of the battle? If you remember, earlier in the quest chain, he also mentioned how he called for reinforcements from the rest of the Earthen Ring. So thankfully, they showed up pretty much right on time. Nice continuity. Something Vashj'ir is actually surprisingly good at.
The elements listen.
The Earthen Ring has received my distress message and sent help. Just in time, it would seem. Oh, did you notice the tone of the quest chain? The first bundle of quests is, okay, you're barely alive. Go get these items so you can buff yourself. Go help the other troops to arm themselves and get food. Oh crap, we're under attack, defend. We have lost the defense and we're being captured. Then there's a reset. Aeronach and the Earthen Ring rescue us, and now we're kind of reset again. Notice how we have already lost our first battle at Love Vashj'ir. In fact, plus the story. The Earthen Ring has received my distress message and sent help. Just in time, it would seem. Hopefully more can be sent soon. We are but a few against many.
Maintain focus.
Oh god, I really need to sort my inventory. Hang on. Probably a kitten fan.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles.
No judgment in any direction. Oh my goodness.
Many farewells. I have many wares.
I mean, I never claimed to be a smart person, kitten fan, so that could entirely be it. There. What? Oh, because I did that with a group. Right, that makes sense. Oh, the transmog system is many positives. In fact, the transmog is so many positives, I haven't even given them all out yet. So what we've been doing is we gave the interface, the setups, the HUD, the search feature, the sorting, the fact that it binds an account, all of that stuff has given many positives. Like so many that people were complaining about how many positives I was giving. And then we will be giving positives on a per expansion basis for the cosmetics themselves, the stuff we're actually unlocking in each zone. Agreed, Esmerastar. I mean, a die system probably isn't on the cards. The sheer amount of work that would be is crazy.
You wish to speak?
Greeting, friend. It's good to see you survived your battle in one piece. While Aeronach tries to scry a place of safety, I shall assist you in securing less strenuous means of transport. I have prepared a bait stick to use near a sea turtle. It's crude, but it should serve to bring one under your control.
Winds be at your
Okay,
back.
so we've just been swimming through here for the entire first section of the zone. So now, why don't we go ahead and try to get a slightly better means of transport? So let's go grab a turtle. Sea turtles are a good form of transport, right? I heard they just got to the water. There we go. Much better. All right, let's go and take this back to base. Give me a minute. We'll get there. Just be patient with me. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Turtle just got eaten by a shark. That's cool. We're fine. We're fine. For option B, let's try something else.
How may I aid you? May the
If you're
eternal...
going to be able to make it anywhere, we need to get you a reliable mount. I think I've come up with a better plan than the sea turtle.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
It's called one of the better ideas they had for Vashj'ir. So if you've been paying any kind of attention, they gave us this swim speed buff and an underwater movement. An underwater breathing buff. We could do better than that. Actually, I don't, J. Palmer. I thought I did, but when I went to check recently, I didn't have it there, so I'm not sure why I don't. Or at what point I lost it, because I'm like 90% certain I got that. So,
What brings you here? Ancestors watch over you.
what that gives us... There we go. Whoops, sorry, wrong thing. Oh, I have to actually use the damn thing. There we go. Is this. Just for a bit of perspective, this is our move speed with the run buff, with the swim speed buff. This is with the mount. And this is the final puzzle piece that really makes Vashj'ir work for me. If this did not exist, if this mount was not in the game, this zone would suck. Because it would be the vanilla problem all over again. No offense, Huthor. Because this would be so slow. Remember, Vashj'ir is gigantic. As Huthor pointed out, this is effectively a dragonflight-sized zone. You can really see the contrast right there. Do you see that? This is Vashj'ir, and this is the entirety of Dun Morogh, much of which is unassailable terrain. Vashj'ir is enormous. So they give you an aquatic mount. There's actually a few aquatic mounts in the game. And it is extremely fast. This is, in fact, as fast as it got back in the day, before dragon riding. Let me see. Let me test. Because I think I have a druid who is in Cata Time Walking right now. Yeah, it's so big they literally divided it into 3 zones. So, plus a zone design on the gameplay axis. Vashj'ir. She should be relatively quick to get there. It's okay, we'll get out of here before the horns fire up. I mean, they had that one swimming, or rather fishing turtle mount, although I don't remember if that predates the seahorse or not. Let's switch over here. Actually, you know what? That's stupid. We're canonically a feral, aren't we? Let's go to feral. Oh god, we're not set up. No, we're not set up. Okay, never mind. We'll go back to balance. Never mind. Never mind. There we go. There we go. There's my girl. You mean Modern Warfare 3, J. Palmer?
Or the Alliance.
God, it really does just teleport us. That's so wild.
Yes. Keep a peaceful mind. Do not let the darkness triumph.
So we need sea legs to really show this off, right? Right. This feels like normal movement speed. Good news is, sea legs is literally the first quest. Yeah, I'll deal with you on that. I've never even heard of this game. Can I get a copy of this game? Hang on, let me double check. Let's see, PlayStation 2. Starts with an S. There it is, Sky Odyssey. Yep, okay. Looks like I can get a copy of it. I don't know if it works or not.
Speak with me.
All right, give him a buff.
Keep a peaceful mind.
All right, so here we are with sea legs. Holy crap. That's if this doesn't look as fast as it is, as a reminder, this is our increased movement speed buff. And this is swim form. There's probably a multiplayer going weird somewhere, if I were to guess on the matter. Anyways, let's go ahead and perch over here. Yep. Appropriate. Well, I haven't 100% tested it yet. But I'll pencil it in, J. Palmer. I'll test it off camera. Probably Huthor. Okay.
How are ya?
Oh, good day, Lassie. My name's Rendell. Seems Omoan and I got here in the nick of time, huh? Aradnak wasn't kidding when he said it was life or death. But in our rush to get over here, we left a little unfinished business off the east. A little lady was near death herself. We had no choice but to leave her by an air vent. How about you go rescue her?
Off with you.
I like rescuing people. Hi, are you okay, Adara? So, again, Adara is one of those mercenaries. The one from Suleiman, the one from Grizzly Hills, the one from the boat cutscene you didn't even see, and the one we'll see again in Oldham. Oh, finally. I don't know how much longer I can last. Please, you must help me. I've barely managed to survive, what with the Naga and the sharks and that monster that attacked our ship. I can see a cave that might be safe, but I don't dare try to make it inside unless I know there's air. Can you make sure it's okay? Yeah, sure. Sure. I got your back. Ugh, there's more eels around here. Filthy, disgusting, justifiably murderable eels. Ugh. Yep, looks like there's air in here. That works out. Come on in, Adara. Come inside. I must repair your kindness. Oh my god, is this a porn movie? Thank you for saving me from the underwater monsters. Oh, but my clothing has gotten all wet. That's not the only thing that's gotten wet, Adara. Jazz music.
You need something?
I cannot thank you enough, Gnome. I just hope this whole nightmare has a happy ending.
Have a good one.
Now that you've brought me to safety, I'm afraid I must impose on your kindness a bit further. The captain of our ship, Samir, is still out there. Mac, too. I'm sure they made it to the sea floor, but beyond that I didn't see what became of them. I simply couldn't get by in a place like this without their help. I lost sight of them in a clump of kelp west of you. Please hurry. They couldn't have gotten too far.
See you around.
I love the kelp forest, by the way. Hi, Samir. I need to find a safe place, so Mac is not doing well. Yeah, you're absorbing air bubbles from frickin'... Why don't you just go for the surface? Oh, whatever. Go to the cave to the west. Thanks, friend. We owe ya. Hang in there, Mac. And he drags him by a rope. Jesus. But there's a quest right over here. This is Zunla, my gnomish warlock. Ooh, there's a treasure map. It's unclear what manner of creature scrawled the seemingly random markings on this piece of parchment, but upon close inspection, some of the obscure shapes begin to look like landmarks. Scanning the seafloor, you think you recognize a few points of reference, one being a nearby sunken ship. If your guess is correct, there appears to be treasure there. Huh. There's also a scaly serpentine figure on the map. There's also a crate labeled crab meat, which sunk from a nearby cargo ship. Adara would surely welcome such a find, considering the ordeal she's been through. Last I checked, we do not, J. Palmer, because they keep changing the shape of the entire globe. I've never really had hummus. Oh, hey, it's a whale shark. I bet I could go kill that. I'll just roam out here and get killed by it in one shot. Oh, right, I need to go kill this thing first. Yeah, that new view distance is crazy. Holy crap. No, it does not, J. Palmer. It should one-shot me if I'm time walking. I'm tempted to test it. Bing. Ah, screw it. Let's test it. Oh, that's some... Oh, that's terrifying. Alright, Mr. Whale. Bring it. Recap. Attack, whale shark. 351,221 damage. I have 51,000 health. Yep, that's your Kata experience right there. Whew. Yeah, it killed me and the next 5 of me. I'm gonna have to res and then die 5 more times. Yeah, I got the achievement back in Kata. It was really irritating to get back in Kata, if I could be blunt. So, the way you kill that is you kite him, right? The thing is, you have to keep slowing him to kite him, which is fine. The bad news is, if you screw up at any point in time, you die instantly. And keep in mind the leash radius problem. So, that guy was irritating to fight. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Ah, yeah, there we go. Now that's a view. Check that out. Yeah, it's just for fun, like most achievements. Nope, we'll see worse things than that in Azeroth. My god.
Good day to you. See you later.
Ah, where would we be without you, Gnome? I don't even want to imagine.
Safe travels. See you later.
What do you got there?
Have a good one.
Oh, what a surprise. If anyone ever calls your character into question, be sure to send them my way. I'll tell anyone who listened that you really helped me out in a pinch.
Safe travels.
Aren't you like a money-grubbing, like, selfish, greedy, asshole mercenary?
See you around.
Let's just get it out in the open. I'm no stranger to love. Over the years, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that love's tangible treasures last longer than the flames of passion. Okay, please stop making this sound like a porno. I've managed to collect my fair share of these gifts, trig gemstones, rings, necklaces, and the like. I carry with me wherever I go. At least I used to. When I was swept from the ship, my valuables were scattered across the sea. Help me recover them.
See you later. See you around.
This quest is called a Taste for Tail. Is it just me? It could be days before we're ready to make our way to the surface, and to be honest, I'm already getting hungry. I hate to be picky, but when it comes to seafood, I'm afraid there's a few things I could stomach. If you come across any lobster types, I'd happily pay you what coin I have for their tails.
Safe travels.
Greetings. Be careful.
Mac's still out of it, and I fear we may lose him if we can't get this fire started. With the wood soaked, I need something special to get it going. There's an abandoned camp nearby with a barrel of explosives. There's no way I can recover it on my own. Would you mind hauling it for us, for Mac?
Have a good one.
The Cobus, or however you pronounce that. So, I want you to point onto the screen where the quest item is, because it's right there. The quest item we need is right there. That's right. If you guessed that dinky little chest right in front of us, you win. Grab this. Why is there an underwater camp here? If there's one thing that always weirded me out about this zone, it's that everyone just sort of automatically assumes that being underwater is the thing to be. Because, you know, it's the underwater zone. Hey, Huthor. You want to know a quest that you probably hated in War Within, that I rather liked? Especially quest chain, but still. It's this very easily avoidable quest chain. It's right here, up here, in the third zone. And there's just some fish that's like, hey, help me. And when we help it, it's like, thank you. Don't bring the light down here anymore. That won't work out well for you. And then it leaves peacefully. Little pro tip. If something terrifying ever lets you go peacefully and amiably, it's because it's actually powerful. You see, only the weak feel the need to express their power. The strong don't need to. Yeah, exactly. Mercy is the purview of the strong. That was a great quest. Hi, Riker's Beard. I was referencing you earlier, but it's okay. No need to watch the VOD. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, we're good. Honestly, another thing that Huthor probably massively disagreed with me about is that Vashj'ir was terrifying. Not just because we're underwater or anything like that, but because, like, there's a lot of stuff down here which is legitimately horrifying. Like, we've barely scratched the surface. You ever play Subnautica? This right here, this place right now, this is the shallows. This is the safe area. Speaking of which, it was a good time as I need to talk about brickwork. I'm thinking 87 pluses to brickwork. Yura, what do you think? Yeah, no, this is the fishing school from Finding Nemo. It's bright, like literally, look at the color choice for a second. It's bright, it's well lit. The ground is like this really bright, sandy, beach-looking thing, which just conveys a feel of safeness. Even though there's tons and tons of kelp all over the place, it's this bright kind of, like, it just conveys the feel of safety, this kelp forest, right? Plenty of areas to hide, plenty of places to run away to, plenty of safe zones. This is your starter area. A deal, Huthor. I like deals. Okay, so it looks like Yura agrees with me. But we're going to take away one, so 86 pluses to story. I mean, if I was Blizzard, there are several individual people at that company that I would be bending over backwards to make sure they were safe, happy, and taken care of. Because I don't want them to leave my company. Like, you have an issue, you have a problem, please come to my office and tell me about it. I would like you to continue to work at my company, please. You are valuable. Sometimes there's another one there. I think so is Miristar. I shouldn't presume that, because I'm kind of bad with names. He's only made one mistake ever. Sylvanas! That's a lie. There's a few mistakes, but that's the big
Hey
one.
there. Have a good one.
Well, no. Were you able to recover my valuables?
See you later.
Oh, you found them. I was sure they were lost forever. Here you go. I hope this is ample payment. Right. I'll get a second
Have a good
trinket,
one.
just to have a second.
See you
trinket.
around. Safe travels.
That's the biggest, juiciest tale I've ever seen. Game, please stop making this sound like a porno, please. I'm begging you.
What can I do for you?
Also notice she just has a giant chest of valuables next to her.
For the Alliance.
Did you get the explosives?
See you around.
Oh, thank you. Let's see if this does the trick. Stand back.
Be careful.
We have, actually, believe it or not, we have the exact same number of mods we used to, Creamy. It's just most of them don't actually watch me anymore. Like, Bragwin's kind of my only regular. Love you, Bragwin.
Hello.
How am I feeling, you ask? Well, after being yanked from the deck of a ship by a giant sea monster and left to drown, I'm not so good. My nerves are getting the best of me, to be honest with you. If you could round up some of the grog, I could likely whip up something to take the edges off.
Have a good one.
Hello.
There's one thing I can't stand, it's snakes. Any kind of snake, doesn't matter. While I was out searching for salvage, I saw a nest of sea serpents surrounding the nearby wreckage. I simply can't relax knowing those awful creatures could slither out there any moment. You want me to kill
See you
eels? I just killed all the... Okay. Alright, so Sylvanas is a weird topic for me. Stop me if I've said this before, Rector's Beard, because I don't remember if I've told you this before. But I came to a conclusion a while ago that Sylvanas is the kind of character who will still get positives in Shadowlands because all of the bad parts of her character are a direct result of the jailer. Now, let me explain that, if you'll forgive me for going a little bit in depth to that. A lot of people use the term Mary Sue to describe a character that they don't like. And that's fine, it's become an insult word, but I tend to prefer to use the term Mary Sue as a direct demonstrative, something that actually describes someone who fulfills a certain criteria. And it's not just a character that's badly written, there's plenty of characters that are badly written. Mary Sues have to fulfill several requirements. They have to always be right about things, you know, they have to always be on top of things and all sorts of other fun stuff like that. But really, there is one thing more than anything else that truly defines a Mary Sue, the actual archetype of a character, and that is the narrative warps around them. They actively make other elements of the story worse simply by their inclusion within it, because the story bends to accommodate the Mary Sue character. Make sense? Medan in WoW is a perfect example of a true Mary Sue, because the lore, history, background, and several other characters' arcs are all twisted around the black hole that is Medan in order to accommodate Medan, right? That is a true Mary Sue. Not as an insult word, but as a statement. Now, you probably think I'm talking about Sylvanas, and if you do, then you are wrong. I am talking about the jailer. The jailer is the Mary Sue. His mere existence warps so many elements of the world building, of the story, of the plot, and of the characters around him simply by his inclusion within it. He's always right. He's always on top of things. He's always 15 steps ahead of everyone else. He fulfills all the requirements. Everyone is constantly talking about how big his dick is. He fulfills every requirement of being a true Mary Sue character, including that final, most critical component. Sylvanas is yet another victim of the jailer. A Sylvanas, picture for just a moment, a Sylvanas in Shadowlands in which the jailer does not exist at all, and never did. What you have is a woman who is broken, mentally and emotionally deranged because of understanding the nature of how the afterlife works. all of her motives, which she speaks about during Shadowlands, if you remember, are all about breaking what she perceives as an objection to free will. That people are not given a choice once they have died. And that they need to be able to be given some semblance of choice and free will before. And so she is lashing out wildly and without any real plan or objective in mind other than to simply rebel. She becomes a punk. And she causes a tremendous amount of damage in her rampage and her rebellion against the structure of the universe. She eventually fails, is reconnected to her soul, realizes the sheer scope and scale of her crimes, and then in penance does everything she can to undo that damage and spends the remainder of her days doing one of the most humble and simple tasks possible, literally walking the maw, restoring the souls lost to it. That, to me, is an awesome freaking character arc. But then you add the jailer to the equation, and this line of her story gets twisted up into the black hole that is the jailer.
Hey there.
So I've been thinking. Oh, by the way, it's Bud! You thought I was joking, but check it out. Bud is back. If someone's out of their mind, like guano crazy, how do they know it? Case in point, I could have swore that I'd collect a barrel of gunpowder from the cannonballs around here, but it's nowhere to be found. That's the one we just stole to light the fire. I distinctly remember lifting the cannonballs. Maybe they're right. Maybe I really have lost it.
See you later.
Don't worry, Bud. Got your back. Actually, I agree completely, Huthor. One of the biggest things that I like about the jailer, which is not saying much because he's the worst character in the entire franchise, is that he's just a goddamn robot. That he was built to do what he does.
How are you? Safe travels.
I trust we both know what's going on in these crates. That's right, fermentation. Here you are, my personal recipe. Thanks for the booze. It has a musty, somewhat hollow taste with a hint of fish.
See you around.
Oh, I did. Hang on 1 second, Rector Spirit. Sorry.
How are you?
Well, that's a load off my mind. Thank you again.
Have a good
By
one.
the way, the name of that quest was Ophidiophobia. Oh, hey, there's a message in a bottle. Let's see. Okay, the author claims to have escaped from an undersea Naga prison. He's clearly in fear for his life, and you can't help but wonder if it's one of your recently abducted shipmates. Let's go talk to Aeronox, see if we can figure this out. Okay, so question. What would I call it when other characters act out of character when around said character in order to propel? That is exactly what I'm referring to, believe it or not. That is the Mary Sue reality warping, right? From my perspective, it's important to... I'm probably wrong about this, if I'm being honest. But from my perspective, it's important to focus on the actual problem there. If these 5 characters, whether this is My Little Pony or Star Trek or Star Wars or Warcraft or like Macbeth, it doesn't matter. If these 5 characters are legit characters until Bob shows up, and all of a sudden they just become stupider or dumber or worse, as you say, to propel the narrative forward, the problem is with Bob, right? This is the focal point. This is what's actually going wrong here. Yeah, it doesn't, even if Bob's in the background, this is clearly the issue. Yeah, actually, I was just about to point that out. If you've ever played StarCraft 2, Amon. StarCraft 2, I know people look at me shocked when I say this, but StarCraft 2 has a really good story and really great characters. And then there's Amon over in the background, who is this giant black hole that warps and twists characters around him to make them worse. He was one of the biggest sources of negatives when we were going through the StarCraft 2 review. Where am I going? Gilblins. Right. I need to go kill Gilblins. Let me use a made-up example rather than an explicit example. Imagine for a moment if everything to do with Sauron actually made everyone else worse. Because Sauron is kind of like the inverse of this, right? He's very much a background character to Lord of the Rings, but he enhances most of the story, even though he's just over there in the distance. So much of the vibe and threat and tone of Lord of the Rings boils down to the fact that there is this invisible threat that you know is on the horizon that you can constantly feel the tangible presence of. You can feel it through the characters around you. You can feel it through the Nazgul, you can feel it through the orcs, you can feel it through the goblins, you can feel it even as they're roaming through the thing. Yes, Sauron is very much that massive background element that enhances a story. And so something like the Jailer or Aemon, or quite a few other examples that I could mention, tend to be the exact opposite, or rather the inverse, excuse me, the exact inverse of that. They're in the background, but they're warping everything else to make it worse. Oh, no bet, Riker's Beard. No bet at all. And yeah, absolutely, Huthor. Yeah, poison pill. That's a good way to put that. Oh. Yeah, Sauron is one of the reasons Aragorn is so awesome. That he is willing to and capable of resisting that. Sauron shows us the impact of what it means for someone to fall to corruption and then redeem themselves. We see this with both Boromir and Faramir, right?
Hello, friend.
If he still lives, I may be able to locate his poor soul.
Maintain focus.
I believe I've located the author of your note, friend. It would seem he is in desperate need of attention. I shall attune the scrying orb.
Find your center.
Let's do it. Where's your orb? Oh, it's right here. Sorry, you handed it to me. Vroom, 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 vroom. Ugh. You should spend a talent point. Shut up, game. Actually, yeah. Denethor and Theoden is another good character insight, enhancement, because of Sauron. Denethor is completely corrupted by the despair that Sauron has been showing him, and Theoden successfully pushes against that despair and refuses to lie down quietly, and instead dies fighting.
Speak with me.
By the way, can I just say Theoden might be the best character in Lord of the Rings? I'm just saying. We must make haste, as you can surely see his time is not long.
Do not let the darkness triumph.
Let's go rescue this poor guy, shall we? Anyways, I'm sorry, Wrecker's Beard. I absolutely think that I don't know when they actually came up with the Jailer. Because they definitely were deciding on their arc all the way back in Legion, based on analysis, and I am going to say this is purely an analytical decision. I think that they had the idea for what they were going to do with the Jailer all the way back in Legion. But I don't know when they really decided to codify him. Nope, I said that wrong. I'm an idiot. Sorry. I was getting distracted by trying to find this cave entrance. I apologize. What I mean is they had the idea for Sylvanas to be a villain back in Legion. That's what I meant to say. And then at some point, the Jailer entered into the narrative. Like, Sylvanas had presence in Cata and was very clearly a villain, but had very defined character motivations. We've already talked about that, actually. I've already given her a positive in Cataclysm. In Pandaria, she doesn't have much of a presence. She only really shows up for the Siege of Orgrimmar. And then in Warlords, she has no presence whatsoever. So she just pokes her head back in over in Legion. Now, I actually agree with Pillage of Snow. If you remember, for the longest time, I came up with a phrase, which was the essence of the Lich King. And I referred to that to describe the ephemeral evil thing that was attached to the Helm of Domination. If you remember, that's been a thing since all the way back in Warcraft 3. The thing that turned Ner'zhul from a mostly evil warlock into the freaking Lich King, right? Now, yeah, the Dark Presence, exactly. The thing that Bolvar mentioned several times he was fighting against. Now, for the longest time, I assumed that the essence of the Lich King was either a byproduct of that much energy, that much undeath energy in one spot, that it kind of started gaining a bit of sentience, or, as Huthor says, literally just nature, or perhaps the perversion of nature, just the essence of undeath, which someone with the Lich King's helmet on is fighting against constantly, because they are so tapped into the very core of undeath that they're kind of dipping their hands directly into the rapids, right? Like, imagine, to put this into a different perspective, imagine sitting under a waterfall, like you see in the animes, right? And there's just this just constantly pouring down on you. And that's just all of the undeath energy that you were channeling constantly by having the helm on. And that's what Ner'zhul had to deal with, and that's what Death Knight Arthas had to deal with, and that's what Bolvar has been having to deal with. And that all made perfect sense and lined up with all 3 character arcs that we've seen on camera. Oh, and then it was just the jailer warping reality around him.
Greetings.
A gnome? Here? He must be mad.
Be careful.
Don't worry, buddy. I got you. You know, I'm going to be a real Riker's Beard. I don't even remember. I love this, by the way. I love this. It's just so cool. It's such a minor touch. Oh, crap. He needs hair. He needs heat. He needs to dry out. What do? Summon a fire elemental with a fire totem. Which, by the way, was a real thing in Kata. I don't even know if shamans still have the fire elemental totem, but it's just little touches. Little touches. God, I love Vashj'ir so much. Sorry. Hi, Nero's S. Early thoughts on this zone? Many positive. I have already given this zone 8 positives to story. I love Vashj'ir. I should mention I've also given it 3 negatives to story in the interest of total honesty. Yeah, the fire elemental is like, why am I underwater? What am I doing here? Let's put it... Oh, what do I want to put that under? I know. We might actually give that a negative when we get there. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it actually flows live, shall we?
The elements...
I know. Guild Wars 2 should have gotten a Vashj'ir. It was better designed for it.
Maintain focus.
This soldier was near death, but I fear we do not have time to await his full recovery. He has information we need to know. Be patient with him, but keep him talking.
Find your center.
I don't know why, but the monsters are going out of the way to keep our men alive. Who are you? Private Reginald Pollard, 13th Brigade, Stormwind Infantry. Ma'am. How'd you get down here? We had them in our sights. Horde ships. And then out of nowhere, tentacles reached up and seized our ship. Broke it right in 2. Survivors. We were captured by Naga as soon as we hit the water. That was nearly a week ago. So, I actually already told you this, but in case you thought I was just giving you information from a book or something like that, the information is in the game that those fleets I mentioned earlier are just shreked. The Horde and Alliance navies are effectively gone, at least the primary fleets. Never thought the Naga would go out of the way to keep us alive. They created pearl bubbles, 1 per man, so we could breathe. Every day they send a bunch of the prisoners off to somewhere, never to see them again. How did you escape? Another soldier somehow got free and broke a bunch of our pearls and freed us. Some swam up towards the surface, saw a cave, and swam for it. I'm the only one that made it. Did you see Captain Taylor? No telling. They brought new soldiers in every day, Horde and Alliance both. Yeah, by the way, this is kind of an agnostic zone, that's why we're only doing it on one side. There's a few very, very minor story details or lines that are different, but for the most part, it's the same quests, because both the Horde and the Alliance are actually unified in fighting against the Naga down here. Don't even try. Get out while you can. There's too many. It's certain
Light
death.
bless you.
Yes. Keep a
Well,
peaceful mind.
It's not encouraging, but it's something.
Find your center.
Our time here draws to a close. I must somehow follow the trail of these Naga captives if we're to discover their purposes in this region. But before I move on, I would see the destruction of this operation. Never mind their numbers, I have a plan to even the odds. Outside the cave, famished sharks are displaced by the Naga, seeking food. In their weakened state, they'll be susceptible to suggestion.
Maintain focus.
Really? Yeah, Vashj'ir... I don't know. We'll see how well all of the endgame catazones do. But I always expected Vashj'ir to do well. Let's just go ahead and mind control a shark here. Alright, let's go eat some Naga. Nom, 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 nom. Hey, you hungry, Sharky? Huh? You hungry? You hungry? Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, nom, nom. Nom, 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 nom. Dude, I've said this before, I'll say this again. Speaking as someone who is very pro-Cata and wasn't a big fan of vanilla, I was pissed they just got rid of vanilla. Like, what the hell? It makes no sense, too, on, like, any level. Even back then, they had the ability to do proper instancing and sharding. Just make it a different zone. Boom. Done. Hell, it'd be even easier now, but no, no, no. Whatever. At least Classic exists now. So, ooh. Yeah, we thought we did. Cata was 2010? I want to say. Something like that. Do I have a favorite fictional shark character? I'm not sure I can think of a fictional shark character, other than the guy from Maneater. I guess it's a woman. Which of the end catazones would I want to live in, from most to least? I'm probably going to go ahead and put Vashj'ir at the bottom, followed by the Twilight Highlands. Then Oldham, not a big fan of the heat. And then Deepholm, and I think that leaves Hyjal at the top, even in its more burny state.
Hello, friend. Do not let...
As it should be. Now the way is clear to deal these Naga a crippling blow.
Keep a peaceful mind.
I simply cannot bear the thought of so many others like this soldier imprisoned, surrounded by Naga. Something must be done to rescue them. Here, take this. Use it on the prison cells to make them buoyant. If we get them to the surface, at least they stand a chance of getting rescued.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
What is this? There's a pain in my bowels. I think they poisoned me. They fed a strangely glowing seaweed, and they grow on their stronghold. I think these cramps will worsen if I don't get some soon. Please, help me find some.
For the Alliance.
What's on your mind?
Oh, for the love of... I know our lad here seems well, but he's been severely traumatized. There's only one way to deal with these accursed beasts. That's a fine dwarven ox buried hilt deep in the noggin. Pile up enough corpses and they'll think twice before fiddling with your tasty bits. Mark me words, lassie. The buggers don't like the sight of their own blood any more than you or I.
See you soon.
You know, I think there's only... Yeah, I'm gonna go with one person I've ever seen present at BlizzCon who I've ever given even the tiniest bit of a damn of. You can probably guess who that is. Like, Mike Morhaime was always kind of a I have no charisma at best. Alan Brack can go directly to hell. And then there's the robot alien guy who just quit. You know, the guy whose smile looks like he's kind of some weird graboid warping his flesh around his alien form. Yeah, Metzen's the guy I'm with. I've actually always had a bit of respect for Metzen, and ironically, as I learn more about him, that respect has actually gone up. I don't want to call him a saint, but he's definitely one of the better people there. Yeah, that's him, Colgrim. Ugh. Which one's Holly? Hang on, let me pull up a picture. Because that will help. Hello. Dozens of crude gold links make up this heavy chain. Dangling from the center is an opalescent fragment of what must have been a large, shell-shaped medallion. Oh. Okay, Holly Longdale. Let's see who this person is. Oh, yeah, no, she's alright. She's... probably shouldn't be on camera, excuse me, if I'm being completely honest with you. But she's alright, I like her. Leaves. Wow. No. President leaves. Wow. No. Okay. Hang on. Wow. No. We'll do a Blizzard. Blizzard president. Let's try this. No, not Morhaime. Not Brack. There he is. Who's this asshole? Who are you? Alan Adam. Alan Adam is the alien. And he can go straight to hell. Wait, I think? Hang on. Alan Adam. Let's try that again. Nope, that's not him. Who's Alan Adam? This isn't him. Is it Mike Ybarra? God damn it. Mike Ybarra. Okay, yes, it is Mike Ybarra. Thank you. Jesus Christ. It's getting more irritating finding information on the internet. And I do absolutely blame Google for that. Yes, excuse me. I was thinking about Mike Ybarra. He's the alien. Anyways, did I ever play Hearthstone? Yes. Did I ever like Hearthstone? No. But the hard time is, it's kind of hard to really put into words why. I mean, yeah, it's over-monetized garbage, but, like, why? Dude, his smile was terrifying, J. Palmer. I'm sorry. Well, see, the thing is, I'm quite a fan of CCGs in general. I've played several over the years, but, like, something about Hearthstone just did not work for me. And on paper, it really should have. I bet if I really sat down and thought about it, I could come up with a more detailed reason why. We were pleasantly surprised to find that after being mangled and masticated by a sea crab, the map is still legible. Clearly indicates a footlocker buried in the Kelpathar forest. I'll have to deal with that in a minute. Yeah, he only smiles at his pictures, which is funny, because his smile is terrifying. I saw that too, Huthor. You know, it's this woman with really dark black hair. I don't even know who she is. I have no information on her at all. Unless I'm mistaken. Again, in which case, ignore me. Alright. The treasure was obviously crafted by the local water goblins for a female they regarded highly. Like you do. Yeah, can we please just, like, find all the people who are designing AI and then shoot them? And be like, alright, more people could design AI. It's not illegal. However, if you do, we will shoot you. Are you sure? Yep. Will you at least let us release it first? Nope. Just shooting in the face. Okay. Esports. That's a weird direction. I mean, yeah, he's a suit. You're exactly right, Wrecker's Beard. And if there's one thing I'm sick to death of, it's suits. Fucking suits. So, Nerazaz asks the question I'm going to pass on to the audience. If you could decide for them to spend more time on every, okay, each expansion from vanilla to now, they can spend more development time on something. What do you pick? What specific thing would you want them to spend more time on in each expansion? Draenor. Okay, so that doesn't answer the question, but I assume what you mean is in Warlords, you'd want them to spend more time on Draenor. So let's see. For me, for vanilla, the answer is actually really, really obvious. Quests. If there's one thing that's true about vanilla quests, is that they are undesigned. Not necessarily badly designed, just straight up undesigned, right? And we know why. Like, it's not even a question. We know exactly why that is. So just smoothing that out would be nice. As for BC, let me think about that for a minute. That is an interesting question, Sean. I mean, the problem here is the genie's out of the bottle. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of a theft-based scraping tool. But the problem is, AI exists, and it's cheap, and it's easy, and everyone can do it. And that is the problem. We have added a tool to the entire world that just about any Joe Schmo can use cheaply and easily. So, at the very least, it should probably be used for some kind of positive purpose somewhere or another, yes. Well, that's interesting. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, Wrecker's Beard. It's kind of a night and day thing. So okay, so BC, which brings me back to Huthor's question. So you get to pick one thing for them to polish more, for them to spend more time and effort on in each expansion. So for example, my pick for vanilla was quest design, polishing up the quests a little bit. Like, I think you and I have talked about this, and even though we have some disagreements on preference, vanilla zones tend to be reasonably well designed, so I don't need the zones to be better, but I kind of would like the quests within those zones to be better. Make sense? So BC... Oh, that's a tough one. Let me think about that.
What can I do for you?
You want nothing to do with me, no. I'm a touch screwy.
Have a good one.
Oh, my gunpowder. You found it. I'm not crazy after all.
See you around.
So seeing as you've been so kind to me, I'm going to let you in on a special secret. I have found the biggest shiny of all. No more than 50 steps from where we're standing. Only thing that stands between you, me, and the great fortune is Nas. Don't fret now. I got a plan. Nas loves grub, so I've loaded one of those gunpowders to make it look like a trapezoid. Just set it floating, and we'll be rich. By the way, the name of this quest is Donna.
See you later.
Yeah, we gotta fight Nas. This quest is for you, Riker's Beard. This one's for you. Dungeons were interestingly designed in BC. Some of them, as we showed on camera, were actually pretty solid. And then some of them weren't. Oh, I do need to beat another gun. I was right. Yeah, I was thinking the story too, or perhaps more accurately, the plot. You know what? I'm actually going to take that back. You know the specific thing I would want them to do more with in BC? Continuity. Or, sorry, let me be more clear about that word. Consistency. Like, I came up with an entire term just to describe how much BC was inconsistent with itself. Alzheimer's. So, like, fix some of the consistency in BC, you know? Amazing. You watch the great white beast swim off into the depths, wondering if you could ever take that down. That's one tough shark. It's in everyone's best interest to try and distract Bud and hope his attention never returns to Nas. Maybe the teeth of the beast will be captivating enough. Let's see. Teeth. There's some teeth. Give me that. Give me that teeth. It's okay. It's a shark tooth. Nobody cares. So, Wrath. I mean, that's so true for so many sports, Riker's Beard. Everyone says they want racing. I follow racing because I'm a geek. To be more balanced. They want everyone to be in the same cars and the same mechanics and all that. But I'm just going to give this away. If you have a race with, 20 people who are driving what is effectively the exact same car, that race is really boring. I should know. Those races exist. What ends up happening is a line is formed. And then the people at the front hold the front, and the people in the back hold the back. And every so often, someone goes for a maneuver, generally doesn't win, and then they go back into the line. AI is currently being used aggressively in order to make a lot of people's lives worse. Creamy human being. That's the parallel. Yeah, what's the last racing game you played that used normal cars? Probably Gran Turismo. 4? The one that was on the PS3. It's been a while. Hey, bud. I brought you some shark teeth.
Good day to you. Safe travel.
What? Nas ain't dead? This kind of takes the quick out of my get-rich-quick scheme. Them giant shark teeth are nice and all, but we can't stop them till that shiny is ours.
See you later.
If old Nas had heels, he'd be on them right now. Fortunately for you, I think like a shark. You do? Nas is mad as all get out, and we're going to use that to our advantage. Here, I found this chain while out treasure hunting. Tied to that harpoon. When he sees you, he'll be consumed with rage, and that's when we strike.
Safe travel.
You want me to be bait to... Okay. I, as most people who have a brain, know that AI can be used for a great deal of good. It is also an absolutely terrifying thing which has already been used for bad. I guess you could say the same about most inventions, right? That's life. Right here, where's the stupid thing? I guess I'm just not used to being this much at the forefront of an invention. Which is funny, because I've been here for the internet. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Oh, there it goes. It wasn't popping up. Oh, God, yeah. I've got an idea. I'll invent TNT. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, I got him. I got him. Ooh. Actually, I do, Ross. Would I call the internet net positive? Yeah. It would be foolish to acknowledge, to say it is a gross positive, but I do agree it is a net positive. And that's why I try to comfort myself in my dark and terrified moments. And I'm going to be honest with you, I do have my moments of fear. Not going to lie. Alright, bud. I killed your shark for you. Where you at, buddy? Bud? Bud, why are you a skeleton?
You need something?
This ain't really as bad as it looks. You're a skeleton.
See you around.
We did it. Nas is down and we have our shiny. That's the good news. Darn shiny is cursed treasure. Makes anyone who touches it a skeleton. That's the bad news. These cursed pirates say a Gilblin king has the secret to remove the hex. That's the good news. I can't step outside the reef or I'll be cursed forever. That's the bad news.
Have a good one.
Okay. It's very shiny. Oh, shoot. I lost him. There he is. Of course, it's frickin' Elven. What else would be cursed in this stupid setting other than Elven? Frickin' elves! When did Curse of the Black Pearl come out? Because this is 2010. Yeah, this is a little bit after Black Pearl. And yeah, by the way, there's the Pewter Prophet.
How are you?
So now, am I going to remove this curse or what? Here's the Pewter Pounder. It is completely indistinguishable from an ordinary everyday hammer.
See you later.
Wait, how's this going to remove? Wait a minute.
See you around.
There's no magic source to my curse. It's just a hammer. I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. There's no way I'm going to use this to break my shiny, not after all I've gone to get to it. That means I'm stuck down here for an eternity. I just learned to sail, you know? Oh, I can't decide. Here, you take the hammer. I'll just look the other way.
Good one.
You got it, buddy. Bam.
What can I do for you?
Oh, what might have been.
Safe travels.
Very well, friend. I'll see you in Oldham. And by the way, remember, the whole reason he jumped off the side of the ship was to get that stupid statue. Dude, one of my favorite little stories to tell is when I was in jail briefly. I met someone who had already been in jail for several years. And as is pretty normal, they were wanting news from outside. So I told them about 3D printed hearts. And they thought I was making it up. Like, they actually could not believe that something like that could even exist.
Speak with me.
And that's like 10 years ago at this point. Yeah, it still sounds crazy. We can just print things. 3D printing is just such a weird technology. If you ever want to think about the weirdest, most totally mundane technology we take for granted every single day that is functionally magic, think about wireless internet for a second. No, really think about it. And for those of you who are actually sufficiently in the know-how with regards to networking, you know how absolutely insane wireless internet really is. Wireless internet is voodoo. Works. Give me a few hours, I could try to explain how it works. My dad once asked me to sit down and be like, all right, explain wireless internet. I'm like, all right, give me a minute. Well, I want that. Let's dive over here. Let's start getting these Malefic Rupture buffs. Sounds like fun. Whoops. Anyway, sorry, we got a little bit off topic there. What were we talking about? Right. So Wrath. Huthor says he'd change the difficulty curving. Actually quite torn on that. Wrath has plenty of things that could use some polishing passes. But I'm torn on which thing I would pick if I could only pick one. Yeah, no, I'm trying not to go that route, because the whole point is that you're supposed to just pick one thing that they polish up more, right? So... That would be nice, J. Palmer, in every expansion. I can just pick that for every expansion and cheat. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick something weird, though. I'm going to specifically pick Noxoramus. I would love it if they did a better job with Noxoramus. 10-man Noxoramus was actually fine, as weird as that sounds. It was kind of a tutorial-y kind of a raid for people who were just getting into raiding, and it worked for what it was supposed to do. But other than that, it was mostly just, especially 25 Nox, was mostly just 40 Nax again, with only a couple of different changes. Polishing up the story axis of it, polishing up the gameplay axis of it. I think they could do some good stuff with that. That's a good question, Trihexia. If you figure out the answer, let me know. So I'm going to move on to Kata, having done Kata over the last several weeks at this point, I guess. 3 weeks or so. Almost 3 weeks, 18 days, pushing through Kata. See, the easy answer is the quests. Again, take a look at some of the zones that were just vanilla again. And do that. Like, do what they did with Westfall in those zones. Dungeoning was pretty solid in Kata. Raids in Kata were pretty good, too. The Elven Curve was smooth, and most of the endgame zones are legit. So, yeah, my biggest complaint would be the unchanged zones. However, I'm going to change my mind immediately. I've already disagreed with myself. Make it a separate freaking instance. I know this is kind of a sea change in like, rewriting history, but that is what I would want most. This is all about them spending more time and effort polishing something, right? So, make them spend the time and effort generating a new zone for Kata, a new 2 instances for Kata, rather than just erasing vanilla. I think that's going to be my answer right there. Yeah. So, Pandaria. Huh. My knee-jerk thought in Pandaria is the Timeless Isle. Just polish up the Timeless Isle. Like, actually... I'm sure the Timeless Isle is fine for what it is, but it was no Molten Front, and it wasn't even a frickin' Heldanus. I know. A lot of people like Timeless Isle, but part of the problem with the Timeless Isle, regardless of my personal preference on it, is there was a gargantuan content drought when the Timeless Isle came out. So, having a little bit more to do or a little bit more design to the Timeless Isle would probably have helped with that enormous content drought. I am probably not the only player who skipped over to FF14 during that particular content drought. My other answer would be the fricking Darkspear Rebellion, which was the patch right before Timeless Isle, which was even worse. And the only reason it's not going to get more negatives is because it's literally not in the game anymore. At least I don't think it is. I shouldn't say that so definitively. Pretty sure it's not in the game anymore. So yeah, Darkspear Rebellion or the Timeless Isle, one of those two. Warlords. Oh my god, Warlords. Oh, okay. So this is a tough one. Where do we spend our time on Warlords? There's a lot of options there. Aeronoc's image penetrates your mind. You have done well, but more remains to be done. Before moving on from this place, let us be sure we leave it in disarray. Find the one who leads these Naga and repay him for his misdeeds. Garrisons is the easy answer. And it's almost a cheating answer, because it really is the easy answer. Like, I'm sorry, I will say this 1,000 times. Garrisons were good until they weren't. So, yeah, a little more polished to keep them being good. Yeah. Maybe change how garrisons work, like, fundamentally. Oh yeah, then there's Tanan Jungle, which is probably the actual worst endgame zone we've ever had in this game. Like, I rag on the Timeless Isle. Tanan Jungle is worse in every way than the Timeless Isle. Like, Tanan Jungle is a rep farming zone. No, not a daily zone, just a rep farming zone. Yeah, it had a couple of dailies, and it had one story quest chain, which unveiled one step every week. Good night, Nerzes. Have a good one. Ugh. So, like I said, it's kind of like picking your favorite, because there's so many options in Warlords to polish up. Do we fix garrisons? Do we fix Farallon? You know, Tanan. I got another one for you that most people probably wouldn't pick. I can't even think of the name of the zone. I gotta go look. Hang on. Talador. Fix Talador. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? Talador is by far the worst zone in Warlords, and it is the most obvious zone that is unfinished. Yeah, Shatrith isn't even there. There's a couple of daily zones and, like, one quest chain that goes through freaking Shatrith. And there's an entire story arc that is completely ripped out of Talador. The one about, Orgrim Doomhammer. Like, fix that crap, you know? So that's 3 major things we could have them spend time on in Warlords. Areas. That's another thing. Yrel starts off as a great character, and then develops great, and then stops. And then all of a sudden she's like the major face of the Draenei. Like, just, what? Oh yeah, and Murad, we just lose Murad. Our Murad, by the way. That's prime timeline Murad. You know, the guy from Wrath.
The winds guide you.
Let us hope for the safety of those released prisoners. In return for your noble efforts, please accept this gift.
Winds be at your back.
Oh yeah, she's gone. She was a major character in Warlords, and she was the face of the Draenei. She's gone. Thank God we got Velen in frickin' in Legion.
Need help?
Are you able to find any of their seaweed?
Go with honor, friend.
This is tough. Maybe I can gradually eat less of it and avoid that side effect. Thank you.
Light bless you.
Hello, friend. Maintain focus.
It is good that this operation is undone. Soon I must move on.
Do not let the dark...
We'll need to press deeper into Vashj'ir if we want to uncover what the Naga are doing here. Go to the Lightless Reaches, the giant chasm bordering the Kelpthar forest. You should be able to see a cluster of plant life. Once inside the cave, it's a bit of a ride, but I have friends that should provide you a warm welcome.
Find your center.
And then there's the capital city, Karabor, Riker's Beard. Capital cities, excuse me. You could see how much of Karabor was designed, even back in the day. Like, if you just fly around Karabor, it's clear that was supposed to be more than just a place you go through for one quest, right? Let's do that one. Oh. Yeah. Let's redo this. There we go. Feels better. Yeah, no, exactly, Riker's Beard. Yeah, instead we got Ashran. Completely irrelevant zone. Which is mostly gone from the game. Anyway, so, like, I'm torn. There's so many things to pick from Warlords. If I had to pick personally, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I'd pick Talador. Hear me out for a second. Garrisons being fixed is great and all, but, like, what format does that even take? And how relevant would that be post-Warlords? Fixing the capital cities, you know, fixing up Tanan Jungle, all of that would be good things. But fixing up Talador is kind of a timeless change, if that makes any sense. In other words, when I go back through Warlords, which I will be doing, hopefully soon, most of the changes I just mentioned don't really change the expansion. But fundamentally changing Talrador, fixing the quest arcs, re-adding the stuff that's in it, re-adding Shatrath to the game, that's content I can enjoy forever. Make sense? So I think that's going to be my pick, and for that reason. Which brings us to Legion. But first I'm going to give some positives to story. Let's see. Yeah, artifact power. Ugh. Endgame progression systems. Do you mind going into detail, Luthor? Not saying I disagree with you, I'm just curious where you're going with that. Because, you know, we had a few issues in Legion with regards to endgame loot, like legendaries and Titan forging.
Hey there.
Hello, man. You look more than capable than most of them come to here. Come for a bit. Make yourself at home.
Okie dokie.
Can you feel how angry the elements be? They be wanting to attack us and consume us, even as we just arrive. We need to calm them, but that kind of wisdom only comes from knowing what's riling them up in the first place. Come sit by me fire. Let yourself get lost in the flames. Let your spirit peer into the true threat.
Later. Be seeing ya.
Oh, ignore my pet that's there. Oh, hello. Well, this is a terrifying looking place. This breach leads to the plane of water, the realm of Neptulon, the Tidehunter. The Naga and the Twilight Court be working together, and this be the focus of their efforts. That's wonderfully horrifying, isn't it? Disturbing prospects, and there be little we can do about them without more men. Let me know when you're ready to leave.
Relax.
We'd all suspected the Naga, but I knew nothing of the Twilight beneath the waves. Somehow they're corrupting and perverting the elements, making themselves into these horrors. Yeah, by the way, there's Ascendants down there. We're going to have to be fighting both of those threats to stand a chance of bringing peace. Come on, we got much to do. I love this, by the way. We go into a spirit vision, and when we wake up, we are currently under attack. God, I love this zone so much. But God, you're right, J. Palmer.
What you want?
The Naga upon us. Aid us in fighting them all.
Seeing ya.
You got it. Death to the Naga. Yeah, okay, as much as I'd like to disagree, and as much as it doesn't really matter now, I think I would agree with Legion. I think I agree with Huthor. Polish up the endgame. The loot. Legion had several issues with its endgame loot. Obviously, Legendaries, Titan Forge, and Artifact Power are all major elements of that. But if I can add one other tip to that, from a very personal perspective, LFR was completely worthless in Legion because of how much they screwed up the loot progression of LFR. As I've pointed out a few times, in Pandaria and Warlords, if you wanted to, you could actually progress through LFR and actually increase your gear and, you know, just have the same general loot cycle that most people at Endgame did. You'd be a lower tier than them, but it's the same overall gear progression they were going through. I actually liked that. I liked slowly gearing myself up. I liked actually being able to do more and better as time went on. Legion got rid of that. Heroic dungeons quite literally had better gear than LFR. And were more fun. So...
Before the day is done, you will all be slaves and corpses!
Oh, you heard him.
Enough! Have your cave, little shaman!
Oh, wave! Holy crap.
Hello, man.
Glad you're here, Mon. Toshi, you're looking like he wants to chase him down. You should go help him.
Okie dokie.
The winds guide you.
They're getting away. These are the same Naga that attacked the boats and carried away our friends. We cannot let them escape. Take these spears and run them down with that seahorse of yours. Don't waste time dismounting. Just keep after them and kill all you can.
We shall meet.
Let's do this. Oh, wrong way. I think? Maybe? Oh, shoot. Yes, that is actually a Tonka. Or not a Tonka, excuse me. No, that's right, Tonka. I'm correct. I also went the wrong way. Yeah, dang it. Hang on. Going the wrong way. Here we go. This is better. Alright, so we're going to chase down the Naga. I love how we're just killing them as they flee. As it should be. Worthless. Oh no, these visuals are very nice. And I'm almost glad Blatival's in here to see this, because this is when we're going to start giving... This is officially when we're going to start giving sub-zones brickwork positives. I don't remember, Rector's Beard. Yeah, let me kill a bunch more Naga really quick. And we'll really go back and appreciate that. No, Blatival, don't look, don't look. It's not amazing visuals. For real, though, look at that. Oh. That's a shot. The sheer amount of detail on the screen is kind of crazy to think about, too. They spent a lot of time on this. So this is the second subzone. This is the Shimmering Expanse. Raglan's not there, is she? Damn. So, question. What the hell is that? I know scale is a hard thing to understand in WoW, so let me be very clear that this thing is the size of a city. Like, if we get way up here, you get a little bit more sense of the scale of this thing. There's its eyes. Her eyes, I believe. Oh no, these things are fascinating. These are very, very old creatures. You can tell because there's its feeding pit. Yeah, I've actually seen several people look at this thing and immediately think, Lavos! Lavos! It's about the right size. But yes, for all intents and purposes, that is a Loa.
Peace.
So what you're saying, Riker's Beard, is you're in favor of a difficulty option for the overworld. Interesting. Swift work. Very impressive. That Fathom Lord got away. I don't see him anywhere. He's most certainly the key to finding our captured friends. I will hunt him down. He cannot stay hidden for long.
Walk with the...
Most of the other Earthen Ring that escaped the massacre on the boats have taken shelter in a cave a short swim from here. Here's some pretty detailed directions, because this is Vashj'ir, and you need pretty detailed directions if you don't know where you're going in Vashj'ir. I'm just poking fun, Riker's Beard. I'm sorry. But yeah, so... the next one is BFA. Where the hell do we spend more time and effort on BFA?
Glory to the Horde.
A friendly face. Welcome. Very kind of you to come check on us. We're fine. A Naga scouting force did find us, but I'm pretty sure none escaped. We should be safe for now.
Strength.
I'd imagine my first adventure into the ocean is more peaceful and enlightening. Maybe becoming one with nature. There's very little natural about this place. The element's all about a scream for vengeance.
Farewell.
Predators will smell these dead Naga from a mile away, and soon we'll have ourselves fighting just to keep in and out of the cave. Could you help me clean up? Just over the ridge to the south is Glimmerdeep Gorge. Drag the corpses in there. Let the wildlife pick them clean.
Go with honor.
If you're going down to the trench, I want you to check in on one of our novice members. His name is Sam, but he's likely to embellish a bit. He doesn't really understand how members of the Earthen Ring work, but he tries, so we give him the benefit of the doubt.
Go forth to victory.
I like him, by the way, quite a bit.
Greetings,
I am researching snails. Yes, snails, when you're done laughing, maybe you can help. I'm sure you noticed the gigantic shellfish across the ridge. Well, I'm pretty sure there's something inside it. It has several points that can only be mouths or entrances of some kind. I've seen those snails squeezing in and out. I'm thinking we might be able to use the snails to gain entrance ourselves.
May the eternal sun shine upon
What? Luck to you.
Been attacked by any of the eels on the ridges yet? If not, you will. They're bloodthirsty little monsters. They don't seem to show much of any preference on what they're biting. If you're going into the valley, I'd appreciate if you thinned their population a bit. Not everyone here is as well equipped as you are.
See you.
That's right. Yes, that's right. It's another quest to go kill eels. I mean, they've admitted now, in much more recent interviews, that they never intended for WoW to be a long-term thing. Go figure. Okay, so BFA, for real. Yep, we are in Vashj'ir. You know, my first knee-jerk thought for polishing in Vashj'ir, in BFA, would be the chaining. Yeah, the unlocking, exactly. There's such a tangled web of irritation in unlocking stuff in BFA. For those of you who aren't more familiar with it, like I am, the way BFA works is if you did everything, you're good, because you have access to everything. If you didn't do everything, figuring out what you need to do to access the thing you want to do is a huge irritation, even now. Like, me and Pax weren't even fully familiar with how bad this problem was because we played during BFA, so we did everything, so we had access to everything. When we went back on alts or with friends, all of a sudden there were just issues everywhere. Quests not showing up, characters not even being present, being on the wrong layer, etc. So, smoothing that over. And yeah, plot progression behind dailies, Jesus Christ. They've only done that a couple of times, and both times it's pissed me off. It is currently still an issue. Yeah, Pandara is the other time. And it will get a negative for it, to be very clear and fair about it. So, I think that would be my pick for BFA. Smooth out the progression lines and untangle some of the requirement chains. Yeah, let's grab that. That brings me to Shadowlands. What the hell do we fix about Shadowlands? Remove the jailer. I mean... honestly, as I've already illustrated, several character arcs work a lot better if the jailer simply does not exist. Like, I mentioned Sylvanas. Here's another one for you. Everything about Moisella and his attempt to usurp the place of death as the Loa of Death actually makes more sense if you assume the jailer does not exist. How about everything to do with Helya? Helya's arc isn't exactly extensive, but she's got a hard-on of revengeance for Odin. And her wanting to control the realm of death and use that against him makes perfect sense. Kel'Thuzad. His entire arc isn't exactly extensive in Shadowlands, but what it boils down to is him wanting to control death. And frankly, that makes sense for Kel'Thuzad. Him wanting to be in control of death. Remember, fascination with death is what drove him as a character to begin with. all the way back before Warcraft 3. I got another one for you. Frickin' the guy, something I can't think of the name of. Denathrius. Like, he just... I can't even begin. He's actually probably the worst example of this. Because his loyalty to the jailer makes so little sense. Especially since he is in a substantially greater position of power, and the jailer's plans all hinge on him. Several people have mentioned that it actually makes more sense if the jailer had literally dominated Denathrius. Because otherwise it's just, huh? Oh yeah, one last one. I can't remember her name, but the Kyrian. The Kyrian who wanted to re-access people's memories, right? Who wanted to usurp the Kyrian Order, the Bastion. Who, once again, has an understandable and relatable motivation that has nothing to do with the jailer. Devos, thank you. That's all of them. That's all of the major servants of the jailer, who are all much better villains if he's gone. I'm not even making this up. I'm not even exaggerating. Or trying to make a point here. That's just conclusion. Wow. So yeah, there you go. That's what you fix in Shadowlands. You remove the jailer completely. Moving on. Dragonflight. Now, I actually have my answer for Dragonflight. I had this immediately, like when the question was first asked, because it was one of the first ones that jumped to my mind. Yep. Exactly, Huthor. Fix the signposting of Dragonflight. Make it much more clear which quests should be done in which order and how and when. The moment you hit 70 in Valdrakken, you are barraged with quests. And most of those are very much like they should be done in a specific order. They reference each other. There's a lot of continuity in Dragonflight. And they reference each other and they follow through on each other. And it's pretty easy to do them out of order. Smooth out the signposting. Easy answer. Which leaves us with War Within. Now, we're not done with War Within yet, but what would you do? What would you spend more time on in War Within? I remember Garrosh is permanently removed from existence. So is Arthas. Oh, hey, it's Mobus. Yeah, I can't do that. So, here we go. A goblin shaman who can't seem to work out the underwater spell, but it's okay. He's got a source of oxygen down here.
I seen you around here before.
What's with the hat? I don't know about you, pal, but I can't bring water. You're with the Earthen Ring. I figured you have a water breathing spell. Look, miss out on wearing my awesome custom-made helmet? Not a chance. Okay.
Go get him, champ. Catch you on the flip side.
Another fan of the great Sambino. Come all this way for an autograph, perhaps? I'm far too busy to sign anything. Move along now.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Fine. You argue me into it. You can help. I'm leaking air worse than a Zeppelin stuffed with quillbore. My air valve must have come loose somewhere in the trench. I brought spare balloons. Make yourself useful and fill one up, would you? Oh, and get my valve, please.
Don't be a stranger.
Make sense.
These crabs are not friendly. Not friendly. Sam's endless drilling is riling them up, and I know from experience there's no stopping Sam, so let's look into the other side of things, shall we?
Careful out there.
So do you mind clarifying, Huthor? Like, I get Riker's Beard's point, because, yeah, a lot of the game is centered around Mythic Plus, which... Shrug. I'd have more interest in Mythic Plus if I could 2-man it or 3-man it. Like Delves, actually. How did I say that out loud? Yeah, they really have been trying to push Mythic Plus as the endgame activity, and I kind of get that, because once upon a time they pushed everything as the endgame activity. Off, cough, Shadowlands, cough, cough. And that didn't work either. Because that just meant you had to do everything all the time, and that got really, really boring. You know what? I've actually got a weird answer for War Within. Now, this is an extremely personal answer. I'm not even sure this would be the best for the game as a whole. But adopt the FF14 patch cycle approach. Those of you who don't know what that means in specifics, FF14 is more or less designed for you to unsub in between patches. Like, you sign up, and then 3 months later, another patch comes out. It has more, more raid fights, more content, more MSQ, a couple new things, and then you finish all the content, you unsub again. 3 months later, another patch comes out. It's different content than the ones you just did. Like, they leapfrog each other in terms of design teams. Yeah, staggered, exactly. It's very staggered. That being said, yeah, polishing out Mythic Plus would probably be for the better overall betterment of the game than just doing that. Oh, there we go, all fixed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keep it real.
I will admit, I actually looked briefly in War Within to getting a few bits of, actual no really endgame gear, like mythic, what is it, 14 plus gear? Raid mythic gear? I forget what the specific lineup is, but you know what I'm talking about. Good endgame gear. Saw the drop rate chance and how many mythic pluses I would have to do in order to get that, and immediately backed off of that. Don't mistake me. I don't want, what do they call that? Charity purples as much as anybody else, because that's its own problem. But, that's too much. That's way too much crying for just one piece of gear.
Don't waste my time.
Does everything down here only come in jumbo size? Ooh, there's a thought. Maybe there's some hunky sea goblins down here. Thanks, by the way. You're welcome.
On your way.
Yo, be careful out there.
Only air wasn't so damn floaty. Or if only the water breathing spells came with stylish helmets. Either would do nicely.
See you around, friend.
I would have thought I'd given you a weight belt just so you wouldn't float away. Air balloon and all. Lucky for me you came down here with armor. Ha!
Glad I could help.
Alright, I'll let you in on the real work since you looked at me so desperately. This rock is untapped. It's probably richer than a trade prince during a great war. I need samples. More samples. Samples from everywhere. I've modified my earth totems to drill through the sand and store samples in the rock. Go find me a nice spot and plant one.
Have a good one.
Okay. WoW's patch cadence has varied in terms of my preference. However, I will say, Dragonflight hit a really sweet spot for me. That was a really good sequence of patch cycles. Now, in the interest of fairness, I should mention I am counting Plunderstorm and Pandaria Remix as part of the Dragonflight patch cycle. But that counts, right? Because we're talking about stuff live. We're talking about stuff as it's happening. And that's a good way to keep players interested in playing other things, you know, off to the side, if, you know, while they're working on the main patches. Plunderstorm was an optional side mode, which was actually a lot of fun, although I wouldn't recommend grinding it like I did. But if you did grind it like I did, you would get... Oh, where is it? This outfit. Which probably doesn't look all that great on a gnome, and that's fine. But let me tell you, this thing looks amazing on a night elf. And an undead. Plunderstorm is something I've been saying they should do literally since vanilla. And you're probably thinking, what, Plunderstorm specifically? No. What I mean by that is having a live team doing fun events periodically. That's what I call the live team, right? I call them that because that's what they called them back in the day. You remember when devs would just pop into Ultima Online and go do stuff with players? They did that in Asheron's Call as well. It's an old concept. And yeah, having a live team which just comes up with stuff to do was a great idea. It was a great gap filler in production cycle because you cannot produce content as fast as players can consume it. It is impossible. So having that kind of a live team to help fill the gaps was always helpful. Now, they're not doing truly live stuff like I've suggested for years, but Plunderstorm and Pandaria Remix are as close to that as we've seen so far, and frankly, they were both a great idea.
What's the word on the street? Catch you on the flip side. Have a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure Philora wants you back. That woman has no respect for innovation. When I told her about my modification I was making to my Earth Elemental, she nearly threw a fit. Yeah, by the way, do you see the Earth Elemental? He's got a new stone arm, a fancy new head, and a rocket pack for a back. Hell yeah, brother.
Be careful out there.
Probably Esmeristel. Esmeristel? Your name is now Esmeristel. Esmeristar. Sorry. You have become Fel Esmeristar. What were the Dragonflight diners? I don't actually remember. Yeah, that's your Minari. Me too, Yura. Me too. Looks like dinner is quite soon. If I were to guess. Oh, well. I'll just stand here. Stretch. Ah!
But look at the picture Everly and me took.
Oh, it's a good picture. Did you have fun with her?
Yeah.
Did I get a hug? Hug. Uh-oh. I can't let go. I can't let go. No! Yeah.
I slipped through.
Okay.
But, bye.
Okay. I'll be right up.
But I have to bring this back up.
Well, go take it up. Take it up. I'll be right up. So like I said, it is dinner time. Tomorrow we will go ahead and finish Vashj'ir. We got about halfway through it, so that's pretty solid. And, yeah. The next zone we're hitting... Hang on, let me look this up here, because I'm sure some of you care. After we finish up... By the way, I'd love to have people to do the dungeon as soon as we finish Vashj'ir, because, obvious. But after we do Vashj'ir, the next zone we're doing is Oldham. That has 2 dungeons in that, so that'll be another fun one. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow.